Hi, Enthiyaz. How are you doing?
Hi Shweta, I'm good. What about you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So, are you ready for the interview now?
Yeah, I'm ready, Shweta. I'm ready
Okay,
for.
please carry on. Please share the screen.
Yeah, I'm going to sharing my screen. Is my screen is visible, Shweta?
Yes, it's visible. You please carry on with your.
Yeah, thank you. So now we are going to explaining. I'm going to explaining about the financial consolidation flows. Now the practice for the lesson two is configuring the financial consolidation flows business process. Click on to the next. So here we can see the overview. There we can see running the setup wizard and adding a new feature using the enable features. So coming to the practice 2-1, running up the setup wizard. Here's the overview. In this practice, you will build the FCCS application. So when you want to build up the FCCS application, they have to be know the URL for the EPM cloud. I have the URL, so I can log into the application. Here is the task, log into the EPM cloud, then give the URL, then give the credentials, username and password. So click on to the application. There I have already applied the URL. So there I am going to giving the credentials. So username EPM default, EPM underscore default underscore cloud underscore admin. So I'm giving the password. So the application will be open like this. So I have already chosen the financial and consolidation close application. Then going to click on the start. After clicking the option, then next provide the application details and the description as the follows. The name and the description. So I'm going to write the name FCCS and the description financial consolidation and close. So now I'm going to click on the next. There we have the details. So after clicking the next step, then in the details page, provide the following details. Number of months, start and year, finish month of the fiscal year, main currency, multi-currency. So let's see how it is. So we are having the number of months, 12 months and 13 months. Per year we have the 12 months basically. But for the custom period, if you want to change anything, then we can choose the 13 months for the custom period. Their start year is 2020. If you want to change here, you can change it from here. You can change it from here. So the first month of the fiscal year, I'm going to taking the January. Then create the HYTD members. If you want to enable this, you can enable. If you don't want to enable this, it's okay. It's not necessary. It's a optional. So coming to the main currency. So the main currency, like a parent currency at the application level, I'm taking as the USD. Next, I'm going to enable the multi-currency. If you are not going to enable the multi-currency option, then you didn't get the currency option at the dimension level. Next, after completion of all these details, coming to the next tab, features. Click on next. There we have the features. So let's see what are those. These are the features we are going to be enabled in the application. Let's see. So first one, consolidation. We must enable the consolidation. Why? Because if we are not going to enable the consolidation at the consolidation level, the base members not going to be added for the parent level. If you are going to enable the consolidation at the base level entity members or base level any level 0 members, it will be roll up to its parent level. So I'm going to enable the consolidation. Then coming to the balance sheet hierarchy. In balance sheet hierarchy, we have three options. One is the traditional balance sheet approach. We are basically using the traditional balance sheet approach every time. Why? Because the traditional balance sheet approach is equal to its total liability and equity. And at the same time, the net approach. At the net approach, the client, when the client must require and the client should say that he wants the net approach, then only we are going to be adding the net approach. Net approach is using for the tracking the net details of the assets. The net details of the assets is equal to the total assets minus its liabilities, total liabilities. Basic. The basic is mostly not using, but if you want to use the basic is using for the members, seeded members, which is having the indirect cash flow. So now I'm going to click on the traditional balance sheet approach. General adjustments. Basically, the general adjustments are made for the adjustments for the accounts and scenarios entities. For those, we are using the general adjustments with workflow, without workflow, and no. With workflow is their general adjustments. We have to go for the generals, and there we can post approval and we can submit the data. But at the same time, in this with workflow, we have the rejection process. But without workflow, there is no rejection process, and we need not to be go for the approval process. No. If you select no, the general adjustments will not be displayed. Next, multi-gap. In multi-gap, yes with manual adjustments, yes with calculated adjustments, no. So I'm selecting the with manual adjustments. For multi-gap, every country is having the different currencies. This mainly using for the gap. It refers to the if for example in India we are using the multi-gap, in foreign they are using some another gaps. That's why we are indicating the multi-gap as the manual adjustments. At the manual adjustments, we are going to the application. There we can be adjust the things with manually, and in calculated adjustments automatically the application will calculate it at the background level. No, the multi-gap does not be appear. So here the intercompany data. Intercompany data with the tracking, without tracking, no. So with the tracking, the intercompany eliminations are saved separately at the data source level. But in without tracking, the intercompany eliminations total will be stored in one rather than the data source. So no, the intercompany should not be appear. Coming to intercompany entities aggregation. If you want to do the addition, subtraction, ignore, not applicable, whatever our requirement, we can be select from here. I'm selecting the addition. So coming to the CTA account. CTA is the cumulative transactions. So the cumulative transaction accounts are mostly used for the current foreign currency exchange rates. So here we are using the balance sheet. Coming to the including ratio calculations. In including ratio calculations, we have liquid ratio, assets managed ratio, profitability ratio, leverage ratio. In liquid ratio, we can say that this is a quick ratio, and also we can say that it is a cash flow ratio, like a company which having the cash flow. The cash flow represents the liquid ratio. And then assets management. It shows the number of times that company had the turnover. Next, profitability ratio. We can say that profitability ratio is nothing but when we are having some margins, the margins will be reaches or not reaches. It will shows the profitability ratio, company margins. So leverage ratio. The leverage ratio is nothing but the debt to equity. So coming to the ownership management. So ownership management, I'm choosing the no. Next, coming to the other options, including data members enabled. So if a multi-currency is enabled, then we have the three custom dimensions to be created. If you are not enable the multi-currency, then we have the three custom dimensions. So custom dimensions, I'm creating the product. Then coming to translated currency, I'm enabled, and parent input enabled, contribution input enabled. So last one, supplemental data collection. Supplemental data collection we have to be enabled. Why? Because in supplemental data collection, the all the data which is approved by the approvals, the total data will be stored in the supplemental data collection at the data source dimension. So after completion of the third tab features, click on to next page, then click on to next, then you can be review the page. Now I'm going to click on the next. There I can be review the page, whatever the data have given. So after checking all the data, click on the create. Coming to the activity guide, there we can see that click create to select the application creation status. The application will be created within 10 to 15 minutes. So we have to wait for the 10 to 15 minutes application creation. After the application created, the application will be seen like this. So we have to wait for the application creation. While the application is created, let's see how the application is going to be act. So let's see. So that concludes that the creation of the application wizard is completed 2-1 practice. After the 2-1 practice, next one is the practice 2-2. There we have the adding in new features in the using enable features. So that will be shown after completion of this application creation. So wait for the 10 to 15 minutes for the application creation. The application status creation is successful. Click on OK. Yeah, that concludes the practice 2 dashboard. Go into the activity guide, practice 2-2, adding a new feature using the. So here the overview. In this practice, we will add a new feature using the FCCS configuration wizard. So click on the application cluster and then click on the configuration code. On the configuration page, click on the enable features. Then select the ownership management, equity pickup, and partner elimination. So then click on the enable the in selected features. You will receive the following messages once your process is completed. The consolidation functionality that you selected was successfully enabled. Before you can use these features, sign out and sign in again. The process will take few minutes after clicking enable. So go into the application, clicking on the application cluster. There we have the configuration code. Click on the configuration code. There we have the enable features. Click on the enable features. So here is the ownership management. Enable the ownership management. And also we can enable at the creation of the application. There we can also be enable these features. So the equity pickup, why we are going to enable the equity pickup is the company which is storing the capital element for the future usages to for the company equity pickup. Partner elimination. The partner elimination is useful for the data which can be wrote at the sibling level, directly at the sibling level. So click on the enable, click on S. So it will also take few minutes. As we see, the process will able to take the few minutes after clicking the enable. Then sign out and then sign into the sign out and sign into the application to see the features. Yeah. So just wait for a few seconds. Let's see for the next page. What is so that concludes the chapter 2-2. The complete chapter 2 is completed by completing this process. Okay, click on OK. So it will changes and going to sign out and sign in the application again. Click on sign out. Click on sign in, giving the username and password. Click on OK. So that's coming to the practice 2-2. Coming to the practice lesson 3, navigating the financial conservation flows. Then the overview. Log into the application, open the FCCS application, navigate the predefined dimension, forms, rules, and value intersections, and managing periods in the FCC application. Create a custom navigation flow and testing. Now this process you may see sign in, sign out. After that, click on the application, then click on the overview. In application first you have the overview, click on the overview code, click on the dimension tab to view the dimension details. Click on the actions to view the different action available. So coming to the application and clicking the application cluster, they have the overview card. Click on the overview card, then click on the dimensions, drop down the actions. Then you can see the import data, export data, copy the data, create data, validate the metadata, and refresh the database, remove the application, input and output explorer. So these all are the menu action menus. So we can import, export, copy, and clear all the details. So we can import, export, copy, clear, validate all the data and metadata and refresh the database. So we can remove the application if you want to remove the application. And we have the input and output of the explorer. Coming to the guide, activity guide. So next, click the navigation icon, select the user preferences under the tools, explain the options in the explore the options in the following category. Next, click on the navigator, then select the services under the application, review the status. Click the home page icon to return back the home page. Coming to the application, then I'm clicking the home page. So clicking the tools cluster, then I have the user preferences. Click on the user preferences. So you can see the list of user preferences. So general display notifications in general. So our profile and the time zones, language, and you can browse your profile and the area. You can set the area tables. You can enable the administrator settings and display the member labels. And also at the settings display, we can display the areas. We can not start the approval unit show, we can show the not started approval units. We can show approval unit areas in the approval notifications. So we can give the message like this for the approval status, and we can display the whatever you want to display here. When you have the any notification, you can give the notification through the your email from here. So ad hoc options, so you can use the ad hoc options for the all levels, dash levels, bottom levels, whatever you want to choose from here. You can choose the ad hoc options. It is work as Excel, and then we have the user variables. Whichever the user variables you are created, that user variables will appear here, and the reports, whatever the reports we are created, that reports will be appear here. Then form printing. So if you want to print A4 sheet, whatever the sheets, if you want to print the data, you can print here, giving the options, whatever the options we needed, we can give the options, then go for the print. Next, coming Next one is the settings. Under the applications, we have the settings. Click on the services. Click on the services. So in services, we have the email notifications. If you have any email notifications, process supplemental data forms, the supplemental data which is stored the approval data, the process and the system maintenance, task status updates, schedule monitors, all those data will be located in the services. We can see at the services, and then click on to the home page. Click on to the next page. So from part 3, click on the navigator, then select the dimension and create and manage at the create and manage. Select the account dimension. Review the predefined accounts in the balance sheet. Okay, I'm going to click on the home page, then click on to the navigator. Under create and manage cluster, we have the dimension code. Click on the dimension code. So the dimension is account dimension. I'm expanding the balance sheet. There we can see the balance sheet which is having the FCCS underscore. Those members we can see the predefined ones. The system is predefined is generated. Then click on the home page, click on the data card. Under FCCS balance sheet, select FCCS balance sheet by period icon. Then click close to close the form. So I'm going to click on the home page, clicking on the data card. There expanding the data balance sheet. So clicking on the balance sheet by period. So I'm not import any data. So that why I don't have any data to show you. There you have the years which is given by us at the creation of the year FY20. If you want to change the year, we can change from here. So go to the activity guide. There you can see. Then click on the home page and click on the rules card. Launch, click on the launch icon for the consolidation rules. Review the field and click on cancel. So I'm coming to the application, clicking on the home page. So click on the navigator. There we have the rules card. Click on the rules card. This is the consolidation. Just launch the consolidation, clicking on the arrow mark. There you can choose the whatever the entities you want and the period, the month which you want, and the year and the scenario. Give the member selections for the consolidation and click on the launch. The consolidation will be launched. Click on the cancel and click on the home page. Come back to the activity guide. Then we can see click on the home page and click on the valid intersection under the application in application cluster under the validation card. Then name the starting with prefix FCCS on the valid intersection page or predefined. Click on the any valid intersection to view the details. So I'm coming to under the application cluster. We have the valid intersection. Then we have the predefined ones, valid intersections. I'm going to clicking any one of the valid intersection. There we can see that the combination of the accounts. This valid intersection will be used like a filters at the time of running the runtime prompts. There we can use. So here we are giving the combination of the dimensions. So click on the home page. Going to the activity guide. There, part 4. Click on the home page. Click on the manage period under the application cluster. Under verify the scenario actual and select the year 2020 or as suggested by the instructor. In order to change the scenario and year, select the dimension and change the member. Then click go icon. Click the action icon at the end of the Jan row. Select open. Now the status of Jan will change to the period open. So I'm going to click on the managing periods, click on the navigator. There we have the managing period in the application cluster. So click on the managing period. There we have the scenario actual year 20. If you want to change the 20, you can change from here. And I want to open the Jan period, click on the actions. There we can open the period. The period will be open. If you open the period, don't have the option to don't unopen the period. You can close the period but unopen the period. So these managing periods you can use there where you want to launch or approve or submit the data at the data management levels at the mapping sections, whatever we are going to apply in the year. The year and the month should be open. If you are not going to open the month, there you can be get a pop-up error pop-up like the period is not open. After completion of that one, we have to come back and open the period. So that's why we must do the open periods while doing the work. So then coming to that concludes the practice 3-1. Coming to the practice 3-2, creating a custom navigation flow. So click on the home page, select the tools cluster. Under we have the navigation flow. Click on the actions and then create a copy to create a copy of the default navigation flow. Give the following name. Name is the custom underscore nav underscore ORZ001. Creating the flow. Then click on OK. Click on the newly created navigation flow. Click on the flow and remove the task dashboard and info list by clicking the remove icon. Then click S in the dialog box that appears. Now. Assign this navigation flow to any user or group. Click the magnitude icon. Click the magnitude icon beside the assign to the box. Select the service administrator group and then click close. So I'm going to the application. Click on the home page. Under the tools cluster, we have the navigation flow. Click on the navigation flow. There I'm going to creating a copy. So I'm giving the name system underscore app underscore ORZ001. Click on OK. Then click on the custom nav organization 001. Then I'm removing the task and click on S. Then removing the dashboard, click on S. And then removing the infolders, click on S. I'm removing the task dashboards and infolders. Then I'm going to save and close the application. And again, I'm going to open the nav. Then here the assign to search for the assign. Then we have the groups and roles. I'm going to the applying the service administrator. Click on OK and save and close. Click on the inactive. After giving all the credentials, click on the inactive. It will be active. Then go into the activity guide. Save and close. Then click on inactive. Then log out and log in the application. So I'm going to log out the application and then log in the application. Let's see what other changes is occurred. Let's see what other changes are occurred. So the task dashboards influence are not coming. Why? Because we are removing the task dashboards and influence at the administrator level. Let's see. Repeat the steps for 1 to 30. There, this time give the name of the nav flow as the custom nav underscore 002 and remove the task from the navigation flow and assign to the power user. Log out and log in the admin. You can now merge between the by clicking the navigation flow icon and then selecting the flow. Here the icon is shown. Set default navigation flow as active and set custom nav 001 and custom nav 002 as the inactive. Log out and log in admin. So I'm going to show you. And again, in tools cluster, we have the navigation flow. Click on navigation flow. Now I'm going to creating another copy. So underscore nav underscore OZ002. Click on OK. So click on to the 002 and there I'm going to remove the task. So like I'm going to remove the academy. Whatever you want to remove, you can remove from here. And I'm going to remove the academy. And then I'm going to assign the power user for this. Click on OK. Save and close. Click on inactive, it will be active. And sign out and sign in. So I'm signing. So here you can see the academy is not appear. This year the academy is will be in the tools cluster. So here we have the default. Every time so every time we don't go back under search everything, we have the default here. So if you are, I'm going to selecting the custom nav 00 default. I'm going to select in the default application. So the application is come back when I'm going when I want to click on the application now 001, which is given the access. So the application will be coming like this. Like that way, if you want to do some work, whatever, wherever you want to change the navigation flow, we can change the navigation. So come back. Let's conclude the chapter 3. Come back to the practice lesson 4. Setting up the financial consolidation flow dimensions. So here the overview, adding the accounts and entities, adding the members to the movement dimensions, adding the currencies. So coming to the practice 4-1, adding the accounts and entities. Here to add the account dimension members, click on the navigator, then click on the dimension under create and manage, select the account dimension, expand FCCS balance sheet, expand FCCS total balance sheet approach, expand the FCCS underscore total assets and then select the FCCS underscore current assets account. Then now click on to the shade. On to shade, give the shade investments. I'm going to the application, click in the navigation, there under create and manage cluster, have the dimension card, click on dimension card, expand the balance sheet and expand the balance sheet traditional approach, expand the total assets, select the current assets. There I'm going to add in the child, giving the name, document, So alias also investments. So click S. The child is added to the current assets. So let's see. Yeah. Here the child is added to the current assets as per the guide. Then click save. Now under the investments account member, add a shared account by the selecting the investments and adding the shade. So under the investment account number, add a shade account by selecting the investments and click the add the shade. So clicking the investments, give the investment currency, alias also the investment current data stored is never shared. So come back under click on the investment and then go to adding the shade and current. So alias also be the estimate current. So the data storage must be the never share. Click on S. So the shade will be added. So click on save. Add two more shade accounts under the investments account with the following details. So I'm going to select the investment. There I'm going to add in the two of the shades. Let's see what are the shades. Okay. Collective investment funds. Collective investment. Alias name. Collective investment fund. So the data storage is given never share. Click on never share. Click on save. The shade is added. And again click on investment. Click on shade. Let's see next shade one. Corporate bonds. So write down the name. Corporate bonds. Write down the alias. Corporate bond. Select the data storage never share. Never share. Yes. The child member is going to be added. So coming to the activity guide. The account dimension is completed. Then come back to the entity dimension. Select the total geography and click the shade. Give the name as the segment. And alias also with the segment. Base currency is USD. Click on save. Add a shade under the segment dimension. Okay. So I'm going to take the entity dimension. So click on entity. There I'm selecting the total geography. I'm giving the shade name as the segment and alias also be the segment. So the base currency is USD. Click on save. Under the segments, I'm going to create in the shade. Save. Then under the segment dimension, give the shade ES01, alias also ES01. The base currency is USD. So giving the 01 and the alias also with the ES01. The base currency is USD. Click on save. Come back to the activity guide. Then now under the EN01, add two more children entities with the following details. So coming to the application, selecting the EN01, giving the shade EN0105, the alias EN01 of the base currency is USD. Click on S and click on EN01 and get another shade EN01 underscore 06. Give the alias EN01 Boston. Say the two shade numbers added for the EN01. Go to the so that concludes the practice 4.1. Come back to the practice 4.2, adding the members to the moment dimension. Click on the dimension page, select the moment dimension from the drop down. So here you can see dimension moment. Search for the FCCS underscore moments underscore subtotal in the search box and click on the search down. So I'm going to choosing the moment dimension. Click on moment dimension. Here you can search FCCS underscore moment underscore subtotal. So click on the search box. Subtotal. Click on the search box. Search is completed. No results are found. Enthiyaz moments. What's going on? Let's see. Enthiyaz subtotal. Yeah. So yes. Total. And click on the search box. Yeah. There we got the subtotal. Then let's see what's next. So then give the name MVMTS. For MVMTS subtotal, then click the shade. Give the name MVMTS underscore balance sheet and alias change in balance sheet. Then click save. Okay, then I'm going to add in the shade for the subtotal. I'm giving the name as given here. MVMTS underscore balance sheet. PS balance sheet. So the alias PS underscore change in balance sheet. So the console should be addition. Click on save. The balance sheet is added as a shade. Then see, click on the next page. That concludes the practice 4-2. And in practice 4-3, adding the currency. So click on the dimension, please take the currency dimension and select the USD in the input currency, then click the add currency. Okay, coming to the application. select the currency dimension, click on the currency. So select the currency, add add currency, US, add the currency, select USD in the input currency. Okay, come to the USD. Select the USD currency and select the UR and save. Click on save. Let's check once. Have the USD, click on USD, click on plus, then give the UR. Click on UR. Yeah, there is a UR. And click on UR. Click on save. So we can see that the input currency, the UR also be added. So come back, click on save. UR will be added in the hierarchy. Similarly, add AUD, GBP and INR. So coming back under selecting the input currency, going to the add. So AUD, click on AUD, click on save. At one time you can add one currency. So clicking on the AUD and next selecting the input currency, click on add. There then select the GBP, select GBP and click on save. And next expand the currency, select the input currency, add, select INR, okay, select INR. So click on save. Whichever we are added in input currency, the currencies are there. Then click on activity guide. That concludes the practice 4.4-3. Coming to the practice for the lesson 5, importing and exporting the dimension numbers. Click on the next. There we can modify the metadata in the metadata file, importing the metadata files. Practice 5-1, modifying a metadata.csv file. So click on the home page, click on the application cluster. They will have the overview card. Then click on the dimensions tab and then click on the export. On the export metadata page, click on the create. Select the target location as local to export the file from your system. Then select the account and entity dimension to export the metadata. For file type, select the comma delimited, click the export and save the file locally. Close the export metadata page. Come back to the application, click on the home page. So click on the application cluster. They will have the overview card. Click on overview card and click on the dimension. There we have the import. Click on import. Then click on create. There we are choosing the comma delimited and the location will be the local. Going to choosing the, sorry, we are going to export, not import. So close the tab, click on the export. So click on the create. There the location is local and type will be the comma delimited. I'm going to exporting the account and entity dimension. Select the account and entity and click on the export. The file will be exported. So there we can see the file, extract the file from the zip file. So extracting the file, then have the files. So yeah, I'm going to minimize. So closing all the tabs, and I'm going to saving the files. Save the files at the desktop.
ఆ రికార్డింగ్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. కంటిన్యూగా ఇంకా చెప్పేసేసేయండి.
చెప్పేస్తాను. So that is concluded from the practice 4-3 adding the currencies. Now the practice for the lesson is lesson 5 is the importing and exporting dimension numbers. So click on the page. The overview, modifying the metadata in the metadata file and importing the metadata file. So modifying the metadata.csv file. Then we have the overview to practice and analyze the metadata. There, click on the home page and click on the application, click on the overview, click on the dimension tab, and then click on export. On the export metadata page, click on the create, select the target location as the local to export the file to your local system, and click on the select the account and entity dimension to export. For the file type, select the comma delimited, click export, save and file location, close the export file, export metadata page. Come back to the application and click on the navigator, click on the overview card and under the application cluster and click on the dimension. There we have the export, click on export and click on the create. There I'm going to choose the file account and entity. So click on export. The file will be exported as a zip file and click on show in a folder and extract the file. Extract all the files. Click on extract. You can see the files EPM default account for account and entity files. So I'm going to copy the files and save in of my local system on desktop. So there I'm going to paste the files. Come back to the application and close the tab. Also close. And that concludes the practice 5-1. Coming to the practice 5-2, importing the metadata.csv file and overview. In this practice, we can import the metadata, extract the export meta file, zip file, open the file and save the file and freeze the first top row. Then go to the Excel and give the data as given below. So I'm going to open the, I'm going to open the file, import file. So there I'm having the Excel, open the Excel. So select the first row and click on the view tab, freezing the top row and coming back to the last row of the Excel. At the bottom, I'm giving the so yeah. So at the bottom, I'm giving the account details. Like account name is a account. Let's see in the application what was there. So total account give the parent as the total account. I have already given the total account as per the application. Then the parent is account. So next one is the parent account. Then alias is the total account. So alias is the total account. Next, they valid for the consolidation false. So data store is never shared. Next one is the data type currency. Data type is the currency. And next hierarchy type is the dynamic. And then account type. So account type. So for the account type is the revenue. And next one, time balance is the balance. Time balance is the balance. I'm doing some modifications. So keep value is known. Okay. Then variance reporting is the non-variance. So variance is the non-variance. Then source plan type is the console. So console. Next plan type is a true. And aggregation is plus. So next data store is never shared. So after giving the all the data in the Excel, save the Excel. Check the Excel. Is there any operating systems? So there is no operating systems only. So save the account and come back to the application. Click on the next page. So there I'm saving this file and then close the file. If prompted to the save again, don't save, go back to your business tool while still the dimension tab. Click the import, click the create. For the account under the file type, select the comma delimited option leave. So I'm going to importing the metadata. Let's go the application back and here the application dimension. I'm going to importing. Click on import, create, and then choosing the account dimension. I have already saved in the desktop as the so what I'm saved in the desktop. Let's see new folders. So import file. I'm saved as an import file. So come back and choose the file from the local system. Click on desktop. So click on import file. Click on the account metadata. Choose file. Say .csv. Then validate. Click on OK. Then import. If you want to refresh the database, you can refresh. Otherwise, you wish that's optional. And click on OK. Close the tab and close the tab. Then go back to the jobs card. Let's check. Is there any errors occurred? Hit on refresh until the completion status is not occurred. If you are refresh at the database, it's not necessary to hit on the refresh at the background. So I'm not check the refresh database, so I'm clicking on the refresh. Hit on the refresh until getting the completion status. Clicking on the refresh. Yeah, it's completed successfully. Then come back to the application. If any error is occurred, then go back to the Excel, resolve the issues, and again import the metadata. So I don't have successfully imported. From the navigator, click on the dimension under the create and manage, and click it total act dimension, which is created successfully. Let's see the dimension is created successfully or not. So click on the navigator and then click on the dimensions card. Let's see, yeah, It's successfully imported. Then come back. So there the total account is imported successfully. Then again import the entity dimension, and let's see how the entity dimension is imported. So as shown in the activity guide, click on the accounting. If you want to import account, you can import. I have already imported the account dimension, and again I'm going to import in the entity dimension. Go back and click on the home page. Click on the application cluster. Then we have the overview part. Click on overview part. Click on the dimensions. There I'm going to import in the entity dimension. Click on import. So create. There I'm going to choosing the entity dimension. Choose file. I'm choosing the file. I have already existed file, that metadata entity. So open the file. But while we are going to importing the entity file, we must be choose the currency file. Why? Because the entity and the currencies have the interlinks. Like we are enabling the multi-currency. That's why the currency and entity dimension should be taken at a time. Or else, if you are taking only the entity dimension, it will be pop up like a error. So validate. Click on OK. Then import. So I'm going to click on the database refresh. Click on OK. So it is successfully submitted. Close the tab and again close the tab. Click on the job code. So hit on refresh. It's still in process. I have done the database refreshment or refresh also. It's not necessary to hit on the refresh. It's automatically completed the process. If you want to hit on the refresh, you can. That's an optional. It doesn't matter. So while the process is running, let's see the next path. So after completion of the entity job, we can see that the entity dimension is properly imported or not. If any case is there any error is occurred, then go back to the Excel and check the error and resolve the error and come back to the application. Then again import the entity. If it's imported properly, correctly, that's okay. So that concludes the chapter 5. So it's still in process. Let's wait for the completion status. Also, the database also be refreshing. The validity is completed. So waiting for the completed status. The status will be still in progress. Let's see. So the refresh database is successfully completed. Let's see the importing metadata also. Wait for the completion status. It just take 5 minutes of time. Let's wait for the completion status. Yeah, it's completed. So it's completed without any errors. Come back to the application, click on homepage. So that concludes the practice 5. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Enthiyaz. You can leave now.
Thank you, Manisha.